everyone. In this session, we'll discuss about garbage collection and finalize method. So here we have some important video questions. Can you overload constructor and destructor in Java? Justify with suitable program. This is for 6 marks. Why Java does not support destructor and how does the finalize method help in garbage collection? 4 marks. Explain the Java garbage collector. 8 marks. So Java supports constructor overloading. It means that we can overload constructors in Java. Constructor overloading means what? Having multiple constructors in a class but should have different number of parameters but and also different types of parameters. Okay, that is what constructor overloading. We already discussed about constructor overloading in the previous video. If you haven't watched, please see the description below to see the link. Java does not support destructors, hence we cannot overload destructors in Java. So if it does not support, yes, Java does not support destructors, but what is the alternative for that? We have garbage collection and a finalize method. Before we conclude that Java does not support destructors, first we will see what is destructor. A destructor is a special method that gets called automatically as soon as the life cycle of an object is finished. A destructor is called to deallocate and free memory. C++ supports destructors, but Java does not support destructors. We'll take a simple example to understand the constructor and destructors in C++. So this is a destructor example in C++. You don't have to write about destructors for this particular question. Okay, this is just for your understanding purpose. Okay, and you don't have to write this particular definition and also this program. No need to write. Okay, and also this is also not required. Okay, so this is for you to understand. However, this is there in C++, right? So you need to know this. And also the difference between constructor and destructor, you may get this question in C++. Okay, so you had to know what is the difference between constructor and destructor. So we'll see the example for constructor and destructor. Execution always starts from main method. Here you have in C++, this is how we create the object employee e1 and employee e2. Here we have two objects. As soon as you create the object, constructor block gets executed. So what is the message? Constructor invoked, and again this message will be displayed on the console window. And second one e2, again the same constructor block gets executed once again and the constructor invoked, second message will be displayed. Once it so now we have we have only two objects here, e1 and e2. So once this constructor block gets executed, okay, then after that destructor block gets executed automatically. How many times? Two times. Why two times? Because we have only two objects here, e1 and e2. So what is that? Destructor invoked, destructor invoked, destructor invoked. So what is the use of constructor? Your constructors are used to initialize the variables. Say I have a is equal to 10, b is equal to 20, and c is equal to a plus b. A is pointing to some memory, b is pointing to some other memory location. After this, after performing addition operation, a and b will not be of any use, right? So what will happen now? We have to break the we have to remove the connection between, we have to what is that destroy the connection between the variable, unused variable, and the memory. So what do? We use destructors. Here we have tilt employee. Okay, and how to delete those variables a and b using delete operator? Yes, you can use delete operator inside destructor block. Okay, this is how we use destructor and constructors. And this is the difference between constructor and destructor. A constructor is used to initialize an instance of a class. A destructor is used to delete or destroy the objects when they are no longer in use. Constructors are called when an instance of a class is created. Destructors are called when an object is destroyed or released. Memory allocation is used to allocate the memory. Constructors are used to allocate the memory for the variables, and for destructors releases the memory. Overloading is possible, overloading is not possible. Means what? We cannot have multiple destructors in the same class. And there are they are allowed, that is constructors are allowed to have arguments. Means what? You can pass arguments to the constructor in the constructor. Okay, in the constructor, but destructors does not have pass any arguments. No arguments can be passed in a destructor. So again the same question is repeated. Okay, we'll see one by one now. Can you overload destructor in Java? Answer is no. Then what you have to justify that? Java does not support destructors. The destructor is used to deallocate the memory of unused variables. This is called cleaning up. Java has inbuilt mechanism of cleaning up. This mechanism is called as garbage collection. The garbage collector automatically deallocates the memory of unused variable. Hence, there is no need of destructor in Java. Finalization is the facility provided by the Java for the classes for cleaning up the native resources before the objects are garbage collected. The garbage collector is unable to control the cleaning up of native resources which are used earlier. Then the responsibility of cleaning up those native allocation falls on the object finalization code. Thus, the purpose of finalization is to clean up the native resources used earlier. The finalize method must be run before invoking the garbage collector. However, you will understand about this when we execute the program. I'll explain this once again while executing the program. Here, this is a definition for garbage collection. Garbage collection is a method of automatic memory management. It is a way to destroy the unused memory objects. Say I have there is no enough space in JVM. Then what is next? So we have special method called, that is automatic memory management. We have automatic memory management system called garbage collection. Okay, garbage collector. So garbage collector will destroy the unused memory objects. That is what unused variables. Okay. How does it work? It works as follows. When an application needs some free space to allocate the nodes, and if there is no free space available to allocate the memory for this object, then a system routine called garbage collector is called. This system routine then search the system for the nodes that are no longer accessible from an external pointer. These nodes are then made available for reuse by adding them to available pool. The system can then make use of these free available space for allocating the nodes. So here you can see first one, it will, in this phase we have two phases. One is it will search for the unused variables. So it will go search. Say if I have 100, out of 100 variables, around 10 variables are unused, so are not used. So then what will happen? It will search for all those nodes and will collect all the nodes. It will just mark those nodes, called as marking phase. And in second phase, it will collect all the unused nodes and it will destroy those nodes. That is collecting phase. So here, as I said, we have two phases: marking phase and collection phase. So in marking phase, the garbage collectors, it's not phase, it is a phase, this phase. Okay. In marking phase, the garbage collector scans the entire system and mark all the nodes that can be accessible using external pointer. So this is very important. External pointer is very important. So next, collection phase. During collection phase, the memory is scanned sequentially and the unmarked nodes are made free. Okay. So we'll discuss about this in detail now. So in marking phase, for marking each node, there is one field called mark field. Here we have a field called, this diagram is very important. Please draw this diagram in exam. So in for marking each node, there is a field called mark field. Here you can see mark field. Each node that is accessible using external pointer has the value true in marking field. Means what? Each node that is accessible using external pointer means what? If this particular node is accessible by external pointer, then it has the value true. If that particular node or variable is not accessible by the external pointer, then its value will be false. So this is how it will keep giving the values. Okay. So once everything is done, okay, once it scans the entire system, then after that what will happen? It will go for collection phase. During collection phase, all the nodes that are marked false are collected and made free. This is called sweeping. So what is sweeping? So it will first take wherever you see, wherever we have the value false, it will collect everything and it will make that those nodes free. It will make those variables or objects free. So that is called as sweeping. There is another term used in regard to garbage collection called thrashing. What is thrashing? So thrashing in regard to garbage collection, consider a scenario that the garbage collector is called for getting some free space and almost all the nodes are accessible by external pointer. Now you have understood what is garbage collector. Garbage collector means what? It will just it is used to free up the space, memory space, okay, of JVM, okay, Java Virtual Machine. Now it will just okay, if JVM needs some memory, it will call the garbage collector and garbage collector will free up the space. So again, after some time what happens? So now garbage collection routine executes and returns a small amount of space. Then again after some time system demands for some more free space. Once again, garbage collector gets invoked, which returns very small amount of free space. This happens repeatedly and garbage collection routine is executing almost all the time. This process is called as thrashing. So what is happening now? So the JVM, that is Java Virtual Machine, is calling the garbage collector again and again to free up the space. Yes, this process is called as thrashing. So now if obviously thrashing is a problem, right, in Java. So thrashing must be avoided for better system performance. Means what, what is it, calling the garbage collector again and again should be avoided in order to increase the system performance, okay, for better system performance. What is the advantage then? The manual memory management done by the programmer is time consuming, okay, and also we may get error, right? Hence automatic memory management is done. So here reusability of memory can be achieved with the help of garbage collection. We can reuse the same memory again by using garbage collector. These are two important advantages of garbage collection. What are the disadvantages? The execution of the program is paused or stopped during the process of garbage collection. Yes. So obviously what happens now, whenever JVM, that is Java Virtual Machine, calls the garbage collector, it stops the execution of the program. Okay, it pauses the or it stops the execution of the program to execute the garbage collector. Once the garbage collector free up the space, again it will come back and execute the program. So obviously it is it will take a lot of time. Okay, system performance will reduce. That is the disadvantage. Second one is what, sometimes situations like thrashing may occur due to garbage collection. Means what, the JVM calls garbage collector again and again, right? So obviously thrashing may occur. So that is also a disadvantage of garbage collection. Syntax of finalize method. The code is, this is the code. Here we have return type and space finalize keyword and then parenthesis. And here we have inside this curly braces, you can write finalization method. What is this finalization method? In simple, I will tell you. Before garbage collector, okay, before JVM executes garbage collector, or before garbage collector uh, destroys the object. Okay, before garbage collector destroys the object, whatever the code you write inside this finalize method will get executed. Okay, if you want to execute, if you want to perform some addition operation before garbage collector destroys the object, you can write that particular addition program inside this finalize method. Okay, that is the use of finalize method. And note that finalize method is called just before the garbage collection. You cannot write this finalize method after garbage collection, because what will happen if you write after, if you try to perform any some piece of code, if you try to execute, if you want to execute some piece of code after garbage collection, by that time that whatever that object will be destroyed. So you cannot execute you cannot perform any operation. So it should be, finalize method should be called before, just before the garbage collection. It's not called when an object gets goes out of scope. Okay. And here Java has the facility of automatic garbage collection. Hence, even though we allocate the memory, then forget to deallocate it, then the objects that are no longer is used get freed. Inside the finalize method, you will specify those actions that must be performed before an object is destroyed. The garbage collector runs periodically, checking objects that are no longer referenced by any running state or indirectly through other referenced objects. To add finalizer to a class, simply define the finalize method. We'll see that now. Okay. So this is simple Java program. We'll execute this Java program. Okay. So before we move on to garbage collection, before we execute garbage collection, you need to know what is runtime. Okay. So runtime is a class, okay, which has the Java applications. So what are those Java applications? It will, what is it? It has the method Java free memory method. It has free memory method. So this free memory method returns the amount of memory that JVM, that is Java Virtual Machine, has. Okay, amount of free space. And then so here, and also it has total memory available in Java, that is in JVM. Okay, these are the two methods, that is free memory and total memory method. It has few more memories. Okay, some more methods. We'll discuss that later. It's not required now. So here we have get runtime. So int a is what? A is declared as integer variable. Yes, int a means a is declared as integer variable. Similarly, here we have get runtime method. It is which is declared as runtime. So this, like this, I'll just write it here: runtime and space get runtime. Okay, So this is how we declare the method. So this method is declared as runtime itself. So now to access this particular method, and inside this get runtime, we have the methods called free memory and total memory. So first, now in order to access this get runtime, you have to make use of get runtime class, because this get runtime method is what is of which type, static type. So to access static members of a class, you don't have to create the object of class, you can directly use the class name. That is why I'm using class name dot get runtime. So now what am I doing? I'm just storing this particular method, that is get runtime method, inside. And so I'll not call it as method now, it is an object now, because this method is declared as runtime, so it is an object now. So this object is assigned to run, and this run is declared as runtime again. So run is also a object now. So I'll just remove this, I'll tell you line by one. So run is declared as object, and to this run object, this object is or assigned to this run object. Okay, so now you can make use of this run object instead of using, why am I assigning this to run object? It's a user defined name, you can use run or run one, any name, you can give any name for this, it's not keyword. Okay, run one, run two, run three, whatever. Okay, so using this run, now I don't have to use this runtime get runtime again and again. I can just use this run object to access these methods, free memory and total memory. Now we'll see what is the output for this. So this is the output, free memory in Java. It will return free amount of free memory that is available in Java virtual machine. Okay, and second one same, the output is same, this and this both are same. Because here again it will return, because I'm instead of using run, I'm using the entire object here, that's it. And here third one, total memory, it returns total memory in Java. Okay, so that is total memory in Java is 128 MB. Here we have 127 MB, 127.61 MB, 127.61 MB, and here 128.9 MB. Around 1 MB is in use, that's all. 1 MB of memory is in use. And then we'll move on to garbage collector. So we'll try to understand what is garbage collector in Java. So execution always starts from main method. Class is what? Main class is garbage collection demo. So in this garbage collection demo, we have object obj, and using obj we can access total memory method and free memory method, right? So free memory method. So now it will just print the total memory in Java and also total free memory in JVM. Fine, and that is Java virtual machine, one and same, Java or JVM. And then here we are just creating some variable, that is I is equal to 0, I less than 15. Now these are the objects. These are the objects. Now how many objects are there now? I is equal to 0. So how many times objects are there? Here we have 0 to 14, right? So number of objects is equal to 15. So here we are creating how many objects? 50 objects, right? What is the object name? Uh, Garbage of 0, garbage of 1, garbage of 2, like this. How many objects? 15 objects are created. So now these objects, as soon as you create the object, okay, this garbage is not, it's not inbuilt class. Okay, it is not inbuilt class. It is a user defined class only. Where is that class defined? Here. So class is defined here. Inside this garbage class, yes, we have some constructor and a variable id, and also a method finalize method, right? So now what happens, how many times this object gets created? 15 times. So as soon as the object gets created, constructor block gets executed. How many times it will get executed? 15 times, because I is equal to 0 to 14, right? So it will get executed 15 times. So this value, that is id, you can, instead of, if you get confused, you can use some other variable I, and you can remove this keyword also, this is also fine. Okay, this is also fine. And also if you want to use the same way id here, okay, inside this parenthesis you can use id and write id here, one and the same, right? So this is what instance of current, this keyword is an instance or copy of current class, that is garbage, to access non-static method id. Okay, and then after this what will happen, once this entire block gets executed, constructor block gets executed, after that it will come back to to main class to execute the next instruction, that is run finalization method. So run finalization method is a method of system class, and system class is belongs to java.lang package, java.lang package. So what is this java.lang package? Java dot lang package. We already discussed about packages in the previous videos. If you haven't watched, I will provide a link below in the description. You can watch that. Okay. You don't have to include this; it will automatically be included. Okay, implicitly. So this package, this Java.lang package has system class, and the system class has run finalization method, and also it has GC method. GC is what? Garbage collector. Okay. So construct here we are using constructors. Means what? Objects. How many objects are there? 15 objects are there. And here we are calling garbage collector explicitly. Okay. So now here I'll just, even if you don't use this run finalization method. Okay. First we'll see what is run finalization method. Okay. I'll remove this java.lang. Okay, and then run finalization method. Now what will happen once this constructor gets executed 15 times? We'll come back to this one, execute run finalization method, and then finalize method will be called. Finalize method will be called. So what will happen in this space? Garbage collector, again garbage collector is invoked. Okay, so the uh, it will execute all the instructions next to garbage collector first. Okay, it will print this particular message obj.free memory. Then it will what? It will display the answer for this one, that is 30. Then again, what is the id? Again 30, what is the object id? 30 object id, like that. We'll see that now. Okay. So I'll run this. So now again I'll run this. So you can run this as many times as you want. So total available memory is what? 128 MB, and free memory is what? 127.61 MB, and here it is 128 MB. How much free space? This is after calling garbage collector. Means what? Here we have this is what? Constructor, and this is what? Garbage collector acts as destructor. Now means what? How many these objects will be destroyed? What are those objects now? Here objects are 7. Okay, object 7 is destroyed, object 2 is destroyed, 1 is destroyed, 6 is destroyed, 5 is destroyed. But these objects are destroyed only after executing this particular this one addition operation. Okay, so it will perform addition operation each and every time before before garbage collector destroys. Here it is, finalize method executes. Okay, finalize method executes before garbage collector destroys the object. So what are the objects? 7. So it will execute this 30 again. 7 unused object, it is destroyed. Again 30, it is finalized. 0, like this it will keep executing. So now these objects 7, 0, 2, 1, 6, 5, okay, and 30, that is 4 and 9 and also 8, these objects are destroyed only after performing addition operation. Okay, so how many times operation is how many times it has executed this operation, addition operation? Whatever, if it has unused variables, unused objects, you can, when you see these objects ids will keep changing. When see for example, here these now at this moment 7, 0 are the unused objects. If I run this again, so now you can't see 7 here, right? 7 is not there. Means what? 7 is not unused object. Again, if I run this, it'll keep changing. It'll keep changing. These object IDs will keep changing. Okay. So means what? It is just it is just destroying the object. Which is destroying the object? GC method. GC method is a method of system class. And system class is what? It belongs to java.lang package. Please keep that in mind. So now it will first print. So this particular finalize method will get executed. Very important, this particular method, these instructions inside finalize method will get executed only after it executes this particular instruction. Okay, then only it will go execute finalize method. See this one, if you observe this carefully. So it is just print, first it is printing before calling garbage collector and also after calling garbage collector, then only it is performing finalize method to finalize the entire process. Okay, that is why we call it as finalize. Okay, it will perform all the uh, operations first. Okay, then only it will execute the finalize method. Okay, one by one. So this is all about garbage collector. So this is the output for this particular program. You can, this is the output, and then it's all about the garbage collector and finalize method. Hope you have understood. If you have any doubt, please comment below, like, share, and please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you so much.